Everyone got a seat? There's some more at the front in case you want to sit down, ladies. You can do that. Could I ask you all, please, to either turn your phones off or put them on silent? That would be really, really appreciated. It's time to rewind, and thank you so much for joining us. This is a great turnout, and everybody who's online as well. I know there's quite a few Europeans are joining us today, people in Ireland who are joining us online to learn all about this new event. So that's really, really brilliant. In case you didn't, you could register for the MRL BARC Rewind Challenge, which is after lunch. So we'll do photo call, lunch, and then there's a challenge, those of you that are up to it and think you're a great driver, and organised by the BARC. We have a fantastic panel with you. We're going to take you through this new event as well. We have Ben Taylor, who's the Chief Executive of BARC. Thank you, Ben, for being with us. And Pierre Lecoutour, who's the CEO of Motor Racing Legends. Co-conspirator, it has to be said, with Ben in terms of this new event, and we shall see. And great to have Hugh Chambers with us, who's the CEO of Motorsport UK. And next to him is Ali Procter, who's top rally driver and sometime navigator. No, he's very winning navigator, route coordinator of this event. But joining us remotely is the chairman of Motor Racing Legends, Shaun Lynn. There he is in Dubai. Great to see you, Shaun. We'll be talking to you in a little while, and he's actually missing testing this afternoon to be with us, and that's a big thing for Shaun not to be testing. So that's great. That's how important it is. So it's time to rewind. Many of you have been wondering and waiting and thinking, what is this all about? Well, it's a new adventure in historic motorsport. It's a great formula. It's history. It's a new event, but with heritage. So let's rewind.
There is one event that rolls all these forms of sport into one, and that is the Avon Motor Tour of Britain.
Richard Lloyd was first off in the Big Boss Mustang, flagged away by James Hunt's Formula One patron, Lord 𝗥𝗲𝘃𝗶𝘁. James Hunt was soon flinging the agile Magnum round the tight club circuit, while Ford's Roger Clark and his temporary teammate Jerry Marshall diced with DTV rallymen Will Sparrow and Andrew Carr. Clark and Marshall, surprisingly closely matched on the rallyman's terrain. Andrew Carr in the Magnum showed a marathon man's confidence after a night's driving without sleep, one thing few racing drivers are used to. Will Sparrow raised both the dust and the cheers. Clive Baker caused raised eyebrows. At Castle Combe, the Clark versus Marshall tandem was once more defying the laws of adhesion and convention.
So yes, we are winding back. I know some of you are curious, but there will be echoes of the past, as you will see today. But we can now reveal our new logo, and that is coming on your screen now, Rewind Tour Britain. It's a very powerful logo, it's very strong, it's something that you're going to see a lot of. It's a new event, but as I say, it has echoes of the original, it's multidiscipline, racetracks, special stages, hill climbs, racing drivers versus rally drivers, all in historic race and rally cars, but using that magic old formula of those old events. And most importantly, it is different. So, Pierre, new event with heritage. We're used to you and racing with MRL. This is a bit different, isn't it?
It is different, but I think there is, from an MRL point of view, there is a demand for something different than just pure circuit racing, and that's what the Tour Britain will bring. It's like an adventure. It's also spirit of camaraderie between everyone. So it's a great event for us, and we are very much looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Hugh Chambers, your reaction?
Thanks, Tony. Well, I think it goes without saying, for those of us old enough to remember the original editions, this is a fantastic rewind of not only nostalgia, but I think, a wonderful format. Back in the 1970s, I remember being up at Silverstone and seeing James Hunt, seeing Tony Pond, and sending best wishes for the event from David Richards, who's in Dakar at the moment. They're leading the Dakar Rally. Sorry you can't be here at the moment, but of course David was the winner with Tony Pond in 1975. So as the chair of Motorsport UK and myself as the CEO, we're wholeheartedly in support of this. A fantastic venture.
Fantastic. Thank you, and thank you for being with us today. Your support means a lot. Well, he's unable to be with us here in person, as I said, because he's in Dubai and he's racing. But as far as the chairman of Motor Racing Legends is concerned, this is clearly a very, very important event. You've put the weight of MRL behind Rewind Tour Britain, Shaun. So what are you hoping for from this new historic event?
First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody for coming along today and joining online. Tony, when you brought it to us and started thinking about how this could work with yourself and Ben, myself and Pierre just leapt on this because of all the past history that's there, the opportunity to challenge race versus rally, as you say. I think all of us guys that drive around the rally circles all believe we're amazing drivers, but yet until we see what it's like on a special stage where we get lost at the first corner. And I think it's super exciting and such a great opportunity to do it in the UK. I think hopefully we've unlocked some amazing stages, but also the transition journey across our beautiful countryside will hopefully we'll keep well away from motorways as much as we can and see some beautiful scenic routes. And I think it's such an exciting opportunity for us, 100% behind it, and so looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Thank you, Shaun. We'll be back to you in just a moment. But it's right now that we go over the event line from one of the instigators, and he's been mentioned, of formulating the new event based on the spirit of the original Tour of Britain, and that's the BARC Chief Executive, Ben Taylor. So, Ben, just give us the overview of the event and number of days, etc.
Well, just before I do that, I'm just going to bring us back to how we got here.
Yeah.
Because I think BARC has got a great history of doing innovative, fun things, and that's what I think this is going to be. The Beaujolais run, which is now operated by Goodwood very successfully, had its genesis here at the BARC. We like being in cars, we like our membership to have fun. And this event started because one of the directors, who's in the audience, Bruce Grant-Braham, he asked Tony actually to come up with an event that might be fun for BARC members to do and maybe do it at BARC venues, Pembrey, Thruxton, Gerston, Croft, a bit far away. And Tony came back with a proposal that was way better than what we had thought might come out of it, and that's why we ended up here. And the reason MRL are involved is because it wasn't in our swim lane. We could have done stuff, at Thruxton or at Pembrey and done something, but this is so much bigger, so much more exciting. And when we looked at the proposal, we needed a partner, and we needed the partner to be the right partner. And I think MRL, as Shaun has just said, really got behind it, and I think we're really excited about that. So, from our point of view, that's how we got here. And really, what have we got? We've got a 3.5 day event that's going to take place on racetracks, on rally stages, at hill climbs, and on the roads with the road book. So it's really going to test. It's not something that exists currently, and so it's really going to test everybody. 2 crews, so you can't do it on your own. Whether that's a rally driver and a racing driver, or 2 racing drivers, or a father and a son, who knows what that combination might be. And of course the road sections by the road book, which will be a complete mystery for most of the racing drivers on the event. And no recce, because we don't have time. That's what the schedule is going to be. It's going to be an intense 3.5 days of fun competition and road legal tyres. So I think that's the essence of what it is that we're doing, but really what we're trying to create is something that hasn't been done for a long time, and the support of both MRL, Motorsport UK, who've been absolutely instrumental and supporting something that's different and new, is really important to us, and thanks to Tony for creating it in the first place.
Thank you very much, Ben. That's great. Shaun, how do you see your collaboration with the BARC and your mission for Rewind Tour Britain?
I think from our collaboration with Ben and with the BLT is going to be bringing, hopefully, our circuit competitors across the line and opening up this new world to them, where you're not just using your car to go round and round in circles. It is the opportunity to drive it on the road, to fall in love with your car over that 3.5 days, or hate it, whichever way it goes. But you know, it's a challenge for the team. It's a challenge for the preparers, for those that have looked after the car, be that the driver and the co-driver, or a team if they're following you. I think it's for everybody. You know, if we do this correctly, where the grids are well curated, anyone can win it, and I think that's really important. But I think it's an opportunity to see, you know, Escorts versus Cobras versus E-Types versus GT40, whatever it may be, and that travelling circus, I think on the UK roads could be amazing to watch and see. So I think that working with the BRC and I think with the Motorsport UK, I think it's a wonderful opportunity for us to bring that back to the future, rewind, as you say.
So, thank you, Shaun. It was racing drivers against rally drivers. There was great talk, and Hugh mentioned some of them, Marshall versus Clark, Vatanen, Hunt, some great rivalry. But equally, there was the club drivers, you know, there were the enthusiasts all to take part, and that's very much a message for today on behalf of MRL and BARC. And we have 3 great examples of production-based race and rally cars with us today. You haven't seen them yet. They were out on the track a little bit earlier on. Fantastic variety. Historic sports, saloon cars, and rally cars that we want to attract. So, as I've said, they've already been out on the track, and you can see race and rally cars there of the era that we're talking about, historic motorsports. And we've got a Ferrari 250 GTO out there, the short wheelbase. That's Joe McCurry's car, which won at Goodwood, the 𝗕𝗏𝘃𝗃 Trophy. Tom Christensen was driving it there. That is just fantastic. These are sort of examples of cars that we want to see. The Porsche 911 SC out there. Amazing when you think back, it goes back to 1968. Vic Elford and David Stone winning the Monte Carlo Rally and persuading Porsche that they should go rallying and put more budget into everything. And that car is still staple diet of historic racers now as well. And then the mighty Chevrolet Camaro. We'd love to see that out as well. Mustangs and Camaros. Appendix J, the sort of cars that you might see at members' meeting. So on such a multidisciplined event, it would be great to see this competition between the cars and the drivers, something that we very, very much look forward to doing as well, and seeing them as much as we can. So I think it's very clear in terms of those messages and about how we want the broad landscape, the broad church, if you like, of motorsport to be in there. And when you think back to 1973 and through to 1976 with Tour of Britons, through to Autoglass as well. In fact, here we have our cars coming in now from the track to be with us. And that's the Ferrari at the front, and then the Corkos Porsche at the side, and behind it, the Camaro. Now, the Camaro is owned by Alex Thistlethwaite, who owns Thruxton Circuit. He can't be here with us today, but he said, look, I'm in. There's a lot of people have already whispered in people's ears.
I don't
we
think
said,
so.
I mean,
No,
some
I'm
very-
sure I got ahead of you. You've got some very shiny white overalls on there that aren't going to go down too well rallying.
You don't think?
I don't think so.
Well, I reckon it's pretty obvious. I think the race driver's probably going to come out on top. What do you think?
You just wait till you get up on Uffint. I don't think you're going to get far there.
Yeah, but what about Thruxton? I mean, what do you think?
Well, just don't forget those amateurs having a go as well at both.
Oh, Christ, yeah. I mean, let's face it. I mean, if an amateur beats us, that's going to be pretty embarrassing, isn't it?
There's no future for either of us then, is there?
You do know how to heel and toe, because you're going to have to heel and toe in these old things.
Yeah, but you're going to have to turn left as well as right when you go rallying.
That throws the complications in, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome David Brabham, former Formula 1 driver and a Mons winner. Matt Edwards, 3 times British Rally champion. He was on the podium of the RAC Rally, and 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗶𝘁 representing, if I may say so, the club driver, the rank and file driver, a winner in his own right, of course, and thank you for lending us your Porsche. It was absolutely brilliant. Now, there was banter going on coming up the stairs already. This rivalry's already started, Mr. Brabham.
Well, it will do, won't it? Evening, hello, everyone. Yeah, I mean, the rivalry between race and rally has always been there, hasn't it? And the perception is obviously that race drivers are better. But it's a good way to start the old rivalry, isn't it? But no, look, you've got really fantastic drivers out there that are very talented in their own field, and then mixing it up like this will be fascinating to see, really who comes out on top. I don't think you can predict it.
Do you think some of your contemporaries, because you race historics now, they'll be wanting to take part in this?
Oh yeah, I think as soon as people hear about this, you're going to have a lot of people knocking on your doors and putting their name down, that's for sure.
Well, which is what they can, of course, do. And at the end, you'll see a slide and you will see a QR code and you'll see the link, and you can go on to a special page of Motor Racing Legends website where you can see the Rewind Tour and express your interest. Good point, Mr. Brabham. Thanks for bringing that up. Sure. Now, I'm asking you all to give a round of applause to Matt, because he's a new father. He has a 5-day-old son. Oh, congratulations to you.
You've done well to get me let out for this.
I know. I don't know how the missus let you out when she's... how did you persuade her that you're going to come down for this vital launch?
Well, I think I've been locked down for about a month up until last Tuesday, so I think this is my ticket out.
Yeah. Every time I talked to you, you were on standby to race to the hospital, right, so that was it. Okay, so what do you make of this whole concept and how it goes back in time?
It's fantastic. I mean, there's a few people whose cars I've spotted that'll be in the room today that won't be surprised that I'm happy to be involved and, really keen, because I'm, a huge fan of the history of the sport, motorsport in general, but particularly rallying. So, it's a great opportunity for people with that sort of enthusiasm to get involved, and, people like myself that wouldn't have the opportunity to compete. So 30 years ago when it last ran, great opportunity for that, and to see who comes out on top in the new era of drivers that are about and would want to take part. And
you got your heritage overalls on as well, from Nicky Grist, and Nicky is in the audience.
I've seen
there
his car somewhere. There he is.
Top rally co-driver, many of you know him, sitting alongside Colin McRae and many others such as Kankanen and so on. Adrian, I have to come to you and say thank you so much. Absolutely beautiful Porsche 911 SC. You expect these cars to go well on Rewind Tour Britain?
Yes, I would think so, yeah. The cars are all road registered, I believe.
Yes.
So it might, the race cars won't be quite as ready as for some of the events, but yeah, I would think the Porsche would do well. But you'll have a great mix of cars too because of the year, and cars that people can identify with from those days. Well, some of us who are old enough, but yeah, it should be a great event.
Okay, great stuff. And in terms of, there's a smattering of styles, of course, but really when I talk about the rank and file, I'm talking about the broad cross-church of people wanting to enter it. Because if they want to enter in their Mini, they can try and win their class, can't they?
Yeah, absolutely, because I rally Cooper S as well. And
that's why I said that.
Yeah, okay, so there should be a good mix of cars out. Plus, people with the rally discipline having to go at the race and vice versa. So, yeah, should be a great event.
Thank you for now. It's brilliant. Great stuff. Good to see you out on track as well. We've got some seats there, specially reserved for you as well, Daddy. Nice to see you. So thank you very much for being with us today. Now, I think, Pierre, you should react to that, because obviously this interest is going to grow, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that there will be a lot of interest. You know, we want this event to be the flagship of the MRL calendar historic. So it's really important for us. And we now have to turn this vision that you had into a reality and making sure that it's going to be close to perfect, if not perfect, in all ways, you know, about the route, about the catering, about, you know, the regulations. So that's just the very beginning of a long journey. But yeah, the interest will be probably amazing.
Thank you. And Hugh, when I talk about the broad cross-section of your license holders, do you see that vision of them taking this up?
Absolutely. There's clearly a bit of a challenge in that we don't currently have a license that entitles you to do stage rallying and to do circuit racing, because at the moment we have two different worlds. We're working very closely with BARC and with Motor Racing Legends to develop solutions for that simple problem. There will be a minimum requirement of a national race or a national stage rally license to be able to compete, and then we'll have the necessary protocols for whichever discipline you have got licenses in order to be able to enable you to take part in the corresponding discipline that you don't have a license for. Clearly, stage rally drivers are not used to racing side by side, and similarly, I think as somebody has already quipped, people are used to going round and round in circles and not necessarily quite so good at responding to pace notes. Seeing Nicky Grist down there's one of the most important calls in pace notes is cut or don't cut. And looking at the video there, I think one of the challenges we'll have is around track limits for rally drivers. It doesn't really exist, so there'll be a lot of no cut, I think.
Oh, yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much, Hugh. Now we welcome Ali Procter. He's put a lot of work in already onto the route and the different venues, and he will run those highlights past you. Although many of these venues are secured, some of them remain provisional, which we're still working on, and that's part of Ali's route coordinator role. But he'll explain that, and there's a bit of detail work to do. But it should be an exciting 3.5 days. And the format, Ali, please take us through that.
Yeah, the route starts here at Thruxton, the event HQ, and the superb home of the BARC. As I said, it's 3.5 days. It'll start on a Thursday, where we'll see the formalities take place, so scrutineering and signing on, and then we'll get straight into the action with a race round here. That'll be closely followed by the first stage, and it'll be the first time we've run a stage rally at Thruxton. Moving on to Friday, it's the first full day of action, and we return here to Thruxton to get started with another race and another stage rally. Then we head north, and we visit Blenheim Palace. This really will be a jewel in the crown of the event. It'll be great spectacle for the drivers, navigators, and, of course, some spectators. On day 2, Saturday, we head west towards Wales. But on the way, we're going to visit the fabulous 𝗕𝗿𝘃𝗿𝗄, the oldest hill climb course in the country. But then once we get into Wales, we're going to find Epynt Army Ranges, a classic Welsh rallying venue, and one that's really going to sort the men from the boys. From then on, we'll head down through the Black Mountains and get to another MOD site called 𝗕𝗿𝘄𝗶 Training Area, and there's a real maze of roads to be navigated through there. On the final day, we'll come back into England, cross the border, and get back to some racing at Castlecombe. Following that, we're hopefully visiting another stately home, on our way back here for the finale, the final race at Thruxton. After that, it'll be results, and everyone can go home. To summarise, that's 4 races, 12 rally stages, totalling about 30 miles, approximately 32 race laps, and 400 road miles. It's a busy and exciting 3.5 days.
So, Ali, within those 12 stages, well, you've included the hill climbs in there as well, and the 2 provisional venues. So that's going to make it even busier. But there should be some great driving roads in between those venues.
Absolutely. it's already been mentioned, but we do not want to be using motorways to get everywhere. That's not the point. We have a beautiful country, and the best way to see it is on a British B road from your pride and joy.
Okay. Just for those that don't know, quick update on a road book and pace notes, because there's a lot of people online might not know what they are.
Yeah, all rallies across the world use a very similar system. So for the road sections, to get you from A to B, we'll utilise a road book. That gives a clear description of each junction at a given distance, and using a trip meter, the navigators can tell you where to go. And that keeps everybody on the same route. When it comes to pace notes, for the rally stages, we're going to provide professionally produced pace notes. They're a description of each corner using a number and a direction to give that detail. And that will allow you to push on and enjoy the event safely.
Great. So, Ben, coming to you, you're looking at that thinking, oh, pace notes, you know all about pace notes. But
I know nothing about pace notes.
All right. So, starting, home of the BARC at Thruxton, it is a very, very fast track. I mean, should the rally drivers be worried about such a fast track?
Well, it's the fastest track in the UK, Tony.
Yeah.
2.37 miles of pristine Hampshire tarmac, and we can't wait to welcome people here. But we've been here since 1968. The circuit is pretty much in the same configuration that it was at the time. One of those few circuits that can claim that these days, which means that it's a challenge, but it's a consistent challenge. We've made some changes to church, obviously in anticipation of this event, to make it not quite so scary for people who've never been around before. But it is the fastest corner, and very famous for finding out those people who are brave enough to really take it on. So I think it will be an amazing challenge. Just everybody needs to remember it's just turn right like that. That's it.
And who knew that you had a rally stage here?
Ah, well, if you'd done your research, you'd find out that the RAC rally once came here in the 1960s.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Again, credit to Bruce for that. Thank you. But yeah, but this is a new age, a new era, a new event. So let's see if we can create a rally stage that's going to test people here as well as just a race circuit.
Yeah, and I'm sure Ali will be busy on that. And then another of the highlights is 𝗕𝗄𝑗, and it's quite amazing, 𝗕𝗄𝑗, because you have this selection of fans, if you like, a fan base. They love going to rally day, they love their rallying, they love their racing, their local club championships, and they always get fantastic audiences. Hugh, this seems to be a sort of really cross-discipline of fan base at 𝗕𝗄𝑗. I don't know what it is there in the southwest. Maybe it's in the water.
I think all across the UK we've got a fantastic community of people who are the most knowledgeable and the most ardent, I think, of any fans in the world. I mean, if you talk to any of the international drivers when they come to the UK, they're always excited to be here because the generational knowledge that's passed down. And I think that's one of the attractions of this particular event. And I think the RAC rally, the Roger Albert Clark, has shown how rerunning so many of those iconic events really triggers a national interest.
Yes, indeed it does. And then let's go to the standout venue. It's the jewel in the crown. You heard it mentioned, and we're announcing that today, that we are going to Blenheim Palace. And it's another venue which was on the RAC rally schedule a long time ago. But this will be the jewel in the crown of the event. Second biggest palace after Buckingham Palace. It's a World Heritage Site. It's fantastic. This is going to be a big feature, Pierre.
Well, I've never been there, so for me it's going to be fantastic, the opportunity to see that. And I think it also symbolizes what the tour will be, is that it's a blend of competition, of adventure, of culture, and camaraderie. So I look really forward to do that, and hopefully we can go to Buckingham Palace for the next edition.
Oh, just see us coming down the mall.
You have to deal with the owners. That's
you are aiming high. That's fine. It's not a problem. I know you have connections. There we are. So there's a lovely view of the huge estate. They are getting right behind this. They're very excited about it. They want all the cars, when they finish the stage, to go in front of the palace. There's going to be autograph signing sessions, etc., etc. They want the cars to come in a certain way. So just to give you an idea of the smooth and fast roads through the Blenheim estate, have a look at this short video with the Duke of Marlborough himself driving us around.
This is what the RAC didn't want to do, because they said, you've got too many trees. I said, well, are you telling me there are no trees in Wales? But I mean, this is very interesting, this is, yeah? Because you've got an adverse camber here, an adverse camber there, which is good. This is quite interesting. Oh, this is fantastic. So you've got that
I think the impressive thing there was the quality of my iPhone pictures and the sound. Wasn't it brilliant? Sorry about that, folks, but you get the idea exactly what it was. So Ben, after Blenheim, another highlight, another discipline in there, the hill climb, to follow 𝗕𝗄𝘃𝗿𝗄. But hill climbs are part of this, and you own hill climbs. It's a great discipline of the sport, isn't it?
Yes, and nice to see Sarah and Annie here from 𝗕𝗄𝘃𝗿𝗄.
Yes, they are. I think,
oh,
yes.
they're on the far side. But yes, great to go to 𝗕𝗄𝘃𝗿𝗄, the oldest motorsport venue. I think we all know that. Obviously, we've got a couple of hill climb venues in our locker, one at Harewood, which was a little bit too far to get to on this route, and Gerston, unfortunately, couldn't accommodate us on that weekend because they got the British Hill Climb Championship coming in, and that meant that obviously they couldn't move that stuff around. But yes, it'd be a real thrill to go to 𝗕𝗄𝘃𝗿𝗄 and then hopefully somewhere else as well to bring that hill climb challenge.
Right, Shaun's been listening to all of this talk of venues. Shaun, how do you see the 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗄s, or even like your GT40, coping with the tarmac at Blenheim, and then you're going off to a hill climb?
Scares me senseless, to be honest. I think certainly I'm going to need to raise the car up a bit for a bit more ground clearance. But I think it's an amazing opportunity to race around Blenheim Palace and to go up 𝗕𝗄𝘃𝗃𝗿𝗄. I've heard about it and, of course, seen it many times, but I've never been up there myself. And I just think most of the guys that race with us at MRL are going to see it as an amazing opportunity to drive their car and visit these wonderful places. But it's going to be a massive challenge because they're not used to any of these type of events. I mean, they're used to going round and round in circles. As someone said, they're used to going left, but not right. And I think it will be a huge challenge for them, but one I think that everyone will relish.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you for now, Shaun. So, Ali Procter, if Thruxton is the jewel in the racing crown, sort of super fast, then a place where rallying is worshipped is 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗃. Now, that brings palpitations to some people. Just explain a little bit about 𝗕𝗿𝗃.
It's a classic venue to go to, and it really does deserve some respect to drive around there competitively. But it has a bit of everything, and it's a real test of teamwork for the crews. It really is essential, and the pace notes are part of that. So, yeah, it'll be a real challenge and somewhat different to a race circuit.
And also just explain that the Ministry of Defence work on a slightly different timescale to some of the other venues, but we're dealing with that.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been working with the MOD, who've been really helpful, and they're on board. They want us to go there, but their training and manoeuvres do take priority at times. So we've spoken with them at length. Really helpful. We're on the list, but we have to just wait a little bit further down the line for confirmation.
Well, Saturday is a big day, as Ali outlined as well. And we were talking about 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗃 2, another fantastic MOD venue. There's a labyrinth of roads in there, fantastic. But we're delighted to have Chris Phillips with us today. And if we could approach Chris with the microphone, I'm just going to have a quick chat with him, because he's military liaison officer. He's MOD coordinator, works closely with Motorsport UK as well. So Chris is here at the front, if you'd like to have a microphone. Chris, perhaps you explain the reason why these venues remain provisional, but more than anything, how exciting and challenging they are.
Yeah, good morning, Tony. Thanks for the opportunity of coming down. I mean, Epping, we've mentioned, is 36,000 acres, so we can squeeze a few rally cars around and still have enough room for the sheep and the troops that like to play. It is their back garden, after all. 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗃's a little different. I mean, I've competed at 𝗕𝗿𝗃 myself for probably 30 years. We've had a change of management very recently. The new management we've met, and they're very keen to open up now to third-party income generation, or 3PIG as they like to call it. So yeah, they're very keen. As you say, it's a military base. Defence of the realm always has to take priority. But they are keen, they're on board. I think it's the sort of place that you might not win a rally, you can certainly lose a rally there. But it's a great place to compete at.
But some of the pictures of those cars, airborne and the different cambers, as a racing driver, you need to take care there, don't you?
Yeah, certainly when Epping was built in 1939, 1940, they literally took the topsoil off and laid tarmac, so the cambers follow the topography rather than a racing line. 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗃 has never been a training base originally. It was never a battalion headquarters. It was built as a factory by Winston Churchill to manufacture nitroglycerine and cordite, which we ran out of. So it's a factory base. It's mirrored building-wise, so if there was a bomb attack on one, they could still produce on the other. So there's a lot of stuff that looks the same but isn't. Curbs are the big problem there. And because it's now, the Americans were based there in the 70s and 80s, and then it became a training area. So from that, it's a very interesting place to navigate around, and we've used it on historics and stage events.
Great. Thank you for that, Chris. That's brilliant. And also alongside me is Neil Fuller of Foresters Car Club, the director there. And I know, Neil, that you have incredible experience, over 30 years of putting events on in 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗃 and in Epping and so on. So thank you for, and in anticipation of your support further down the line. That is absolutely fantastic. But Hugh, I have to come to you and ask about, you know, obviously that liaison, the officials, it's going to take a lot to put this event on from all your volunteers and officers.
It will, but we are very experienced at creating new events. Motorsport UK issues permits for nearly 4,000 events a year, everything from grassroots to the Grand Prix. And we've got a team of people, not just the 70 people working at Motorsport UK, but also all of our volunteers, people like Neil and Chris, who sit on committees. We've got over 350 people who are working on all the different discipline committees. And we've got a fantastic community of volunteers. I was this weekend in the middle of Wales, and I was up in Burton-on-Trent yesterday with all the training seminars for our officials. You know, there is an incredible resource there that will make this happen.
Super, that's great to hear. But many of you have been asking about the date. So I'm going to ask Ali Procter to just take you briefly through how that was arrived at for 2027. Ali?
It's a real challenge trying to find a date. There are so many fantastic events that already happen. So it has been a challenge. But we've looked at national events, both racing and rallying and hill climbs. We've tried to look at everything where possible. We've also looked at international events, as there are lots of those as well. Some of the major ones are shown there. A number of those are also the same format that we're looking to run, and they're very popular. We also needed to run at a time that's suitable in terms of weather, where possible, a tricky thing in this country, but also in terms of daylight hours. So from our research and venue availability, we ended up at the 27th to the 30th of May, 2027. Many events haven't announced their dates for 2026 or 2027 at the time of working this, but we have staked our claim early as we can. So end of May 2027.
It's a bit like the Klondike, really, isn't it? Going to state your claim. That's what you've got to do. Thank you very much indeed. Very important that you note that date down, put that in your diary. Now, I'm just going to run through some of the eligibility questions that you have. And in concert with Motor Racing Legends, BARC and Motorsport UK, they're very general at this stage. And I just want to emphasise that the final regulations will be worked on with those three august bodies to come out with a definitive set of regulations. But where they are now in terms of the outline, as you can see on that particular slide in 𝗕𝗿, HTP, and essentially two-wheel drive and cars up to 1986. Production-based historic cars, of which there are loads and loads. And if you look again at the eligibility and then the classes of race and rally as well, you can see, you know, Appendix J, Appendix K, and if you think about saloons, touring cars, sports cars, and so on, up to 86, there's a huge amount of really, really exciting cars. And those are the sort of cars that they want to draw from for this particular race. If you look at Appendix J, for example, then you have the lower numbers under 2.8 litres in Appendix J, where you have a variety of cars there as well. The sort of cars that you might see at the members' meeting. And then you have Appendix J over 2.8 litres as well, where you've got some great cars. But if you look then at Appendix K, I think many of you know that the Appendix K, in terms of the definition of those cars, is the production-based cars at the time and how they were arrived at and how they looked at those particular cars as the basis. So that will all be in the information and the media information in there. So many different classes where they can enter and they can win. That's the important thing. Lots of different classes. And we will run vintage cars out front, 10 to 12 of the cars battling on their own at the front of the field. And if we go on, we'll flash on that particular image and you'll see some of the cars like the Lotus Elan. I mean, the RS 2000. Some of these fabulous cars, you know, the rally-based Mustangs that we would love to see out there. Group N Cosworth, that's a great car as well. But we're delighted to have with us from Vintage Bentley, and he's a serial winner of the Flying Scotsman, no less than 4 times, representing the Vintage Brigade. We have William Metcalf here at the front. We'd like to get a microphone over to William. He's right down here at the front, Simon. I'm sorry you've got a little bit of a walk. But you've normally we would see you in the Super Sports Bentley and you're thrashing everybody in that amazing machine. But you've come in 1928, they're 4.5 litre today?
Yeah, just a little 4.5 litres outside. We'll have some fun later, thank you. Thank you for the spring surprise.
What do you think the Vintage Brigade will make of this and the sort of list of type of cars that we might hope to attract?
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic, and there's nothing better than embarrassing some tin top racers. And so, yeah, I mean, the competitive element between rally drivers and racing drivers, we all think we're the best, and we're going to find out what's what. It's so exciting, and just what the market needs. So we'll be supporting. We hope to get a gaggle of Bentleys together, and yeah, so... brush up, here we come. And
hopefully that will include the Royal Automobile Chairman who's sitting there, Duncan Wiltshire. He's smiling away and grinning and looking at everything that's going on there. So we hope to see you out there as well. Now I'm going to talk to Shaun Lynn and bring him in again because we've got the Appendix J, the smaller and target list cars with Shaun, as I just run through this. And we'll talk about them up to 2.8 litre, Shaun. You can see the kind of list of cars up there and the Frenzas and so on. Then you go up to the larger class, and those of you that have been at the members meeting, I mean, those sort of cars, like the Camaro, Alex's Camaro that was in there, those will be absolutely brilliant on the stage. And then we've got the closed cockpit sports cars. So very much a big spread. Is that what you're hoping for, Shaun?
Yes, very much so. We're looking for to be all-inclusive for anyone that's got a car within that era, that they can bring it along within their grid, within their category. They've got every chance of winning, not just their category and potentially overall, subject to us working out exactly what the rules are going to be. But I think it's because it's not just for the Cobra, it's not just for the GT40, but it is for the Forenzas, it is for the 𝗕𝗂𝗃𝗍s, it is for everybody to have their opportunity. And as William said, the pre-war boys they'll relish it, love it. That there's an opportunity for them to exercise those big old Bentleys, and I think it's so exciting that we can bring this, and that hopefully everybody just their arms around this and gets out there and takes on the challenge.
And then post 63 as well, we've got a lovely picture of that car we have to have in, because it's an absolute crowd pleaser, isn't it, to have a Stratos? Yeah,
that would be amazing to have a straight Stratos. I mean, it just sounded epic, absolutely epic. One day.
I think it'd be fair to say, Hugh, that on the Roger Albert Clark rally recently, last few years, when Stratos is there, spectators go absolutely bonkers for it.
Phil Mills would probably argue that they're there for the escorts, but no, in all seriousness, I think the more eclectic that the entry can be, and I think we're going to really focus on the sporting regs, competition regs, and making sure that we incentivize people to use vehicles that are not perhaps sort of the most obvious choice. And I think some of the things that you've done that's limiting the age, so that certainly post 86 there was an onslaught of technology that would have, I think, decimated the earlier cars. So we very much celebrate the structure that you've got here. I think the eclectic nature is the thing we've all got to focus on.
Absolutely, thank you very much. Shaun, I just want to ask you quickly about, for example, let's go Motor Racing Legends members, your regular racers. Would they, for example, be prepared to put, they've already got the roll cages, put another seat in, put a holder trip meter in there, and then make it road legal?
Yes, I think the majority of the guys would be very happy to do it. It's not a huge lift to make that happen. I think it's a good challenge for some of the co-drivers with the trip meter to make it work properly, and not get the distances incorrect, because that could be interesting in the many rallies that I've done. But no, I think it's not a big lift for everybody to do it. I think they'll relish the idea and the chance of doing it. As you know, it's more of a concern that the co-driver is very comfortable and safe, and that the roll cage is not just for the driver, it is also for the co-driver as well.
Yes, a very good point. All right, thank you for now, Shaun. We'll come back to you in a little while. Right, so let's have a look at the next slide about what sort of rally cars are eligible. And you have noticed today, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you to all of them, we do have stars of rallying and racing in the room. And we have another world champion rally co-driver with us today, Phil Mills, 2003 with Petter Solberg, Viking Motorsport. Phil, where are you? We must get a microphone. There's Phil over there. Easy one for you that time, and there he is right there. Look, you get that to Phil Mills. Now, you run your own hugely successful motorsport company, historic motorsport company, with Viking Motorsport, cars going all around the world. You know, you're used to work Subarus in the day and so on. But how do you view what you've heard so far, and commenting on perhaps the sort of historic production-based rally cars that we might see?
Yeah, I think it's just to add what everybody else has already said. There is a perfect mix of cars here. And you've got your big, your huge horsepower cars, which will be killing everybody on the racetrack. And then you've got your more nimble cars. We just had them up on screen there now, which should take over on some of the special stages. So it'll be very difficult to predict a winner. You'll have the fast cars on the circuit, the more nimble cars on some of the rally stages. So you have got the perfect mix. But I think the structure, the year cut off, I think everything is spot on. And like you just said, you know, there's, if you want to convert a race car to a car for this event now, there's stick-on
items, GPS and so on. You don't have to have any special equipment. You can just stick one on the windscreen, a trip meter these days, and just go. So it's a very, very easy transition to do. And I think from the spirit in the room here, I think everybody's looking forward to it.
And thank you very much for bringing your fantastic Mark I Escort, Roger Clark car from 1974 on the Welsh Rally, and it's sitting outside for the display for you to look. And on that slide now, you see the TR7 V8. That's the one that's been going to Ypres quite regularly, driven by Mark Higgins. So we hope to have that car along on the event as well. But now let's go to Matt Edwards, because we've got a three-time British rally champion sitting here, competed in Ireland, competed all over the world, actually. What is your view on the thing that we are going to bring in, and this is what we're talking about today, a special invitation class for the Group B cars, and there they are. We wanted some of those fire-breathing Quattros and Metro 6R4s, because the 6R4.net people are listening in today. What do you think of that, Matt?
Again, it's a great opportunity for people that have those cars that can't necessarily use them as frequently as they'd like to come and do certainly some of the special stages that they would have done in period. Having them around the racetracks as well is, it's a bit of a padded sell for a Group B rally car, a racetrack like here. So, great opportunity for them to be seen by, the general public, the spectators, and, even, dare I say it, the race drivers would be interested in the period rally cars and vice versa. So, everybody who's a petrol head has an enthusiasm for proper cars, and these are certainly some of them.
And there's still a lot of these Group B supercars which were outlawed around, aren't there?
Yeah, that's it. And, keeping them functional, keeping them, intact in a capacity that they can go and be used is, it's a lot of effort for these people. So to give them an outlet, really, to go and use them will be welcomed, I'm sure.
Great, thanks very much, Matt. Now let's look at the more target cars before we get off this subject, because on here, I know we talked about Sierra Cosmo, two-wheel drive that we're talking about. This XJS, Ed Abbott, he can't be here. He wants to put that car in. We've got sports cars, we've got Ferraris. There's the Metro 6R4 in the works colours, Tony Pond being one of the drivers. 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗶, you see them in Europe. Could we perhaps get one over here? And then the Ferrari 308 GTB Group B car. Tony Worswick, I know he's online watching this. He's very, very keen to enter his Ferrari in this particular event. So there are some examples of cars that have been targeted, and some with real history, which we have outside as well. So former touring car star and historic rally champion, many times over, Patrick Watts, is with us. He's here with Pam, his wife, who navigated him on the Peking to Paris very recently. Let's get a microphone over to Patrick. There he is, almost in front of you, Simon. I'll have a quick word with Patrick, because your Mercedes actually competed on the Avon Tour of Britain, the car outside, the 450.
It's one I actually bought because I did the Peking to Paris in the Tiger, and whilst rebuilding that, I found out from the wife she wanted to do the Indian Rally. And just at the time, I visited Silverstone and bought that lovely Mercedes downstairs, which was Tony Fawkes' car. He did the first Tour of Britain with it, and then went on to do the RAC Rally. So, but it's a solid old car, and it will do well on the Tour of Britain. It will get to the end. Whether it will be first across the line or get the quickest stage miles, it will be there. Tortoise and hare.
But you're spoiled for choice, really. It's the Tiger or the Mercedes, surely.
Yeah, there's another factor, the wife. I've got to sell this to the wife, but you're doing a very good job up there. Thank you very much.
Righto. Okay. Right, and if we could pass the microphone now to Jonathan Ashman. I don't know where Jonathan is. Here he is, he's over here. Now, there's important. Here's history, because Jonathan Ashman, many of you will remember him, because it was MS UK, or the MSA as it was, formerly FIA, top brass, but Jonathan co-drove and was on the podium with Tony Fawkes in that very Mercedes, and there's some of the press coverage, and you were on standard road tyres, as we will be.
Yes. Well, I first did it in '75.
Okay.
Because I was working at Mercedes, I was in a lucky position that nobody asked too many questions, and I was able to take, in '75, I took my company car, which was a 280E, automatic power steering, everything. And the extraordinary thing with that, Hugh won't be happy to hear this, but the first stage we did was Silverstone, and I'd never been on a racetrack in my life. I was on the second row of the grid, and next to me was Gordon's Spice in a 3-litre Capri, and I was just thinking, what on earth am I doing in my, day-to-day company car here? But I ended up third in class in 75 with that, and then in 76, my company car was that one on the screen.
Okay.
Except it was gold in those days, and I entered it again in the Tour of Britain in 76. Tony Falk said, oh, I'd love to try that, so Tony and I did that together in 76, and luckily Patrick's looking after it very well nowadays. So I was a great fan of that event.
So you'll probably be out and about in 2027 watching this and supporting us.
Entering.
Entering, great. That's what we like to hear, Jonathan. Put him on the list. Right, let's get his name down there. He's committed. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for being with us. It's very, very kind of you now. Matt and David, I'm going to come back to you, and then I'm going to have a quick chat with Adrian as well. Just going to look at the target drivers list. We've gone on about cars as we get towards the end here. And there's a long list of them. I'm just thinking, David, from your perspective, those kind of drivers, I mean, we've got Nick Wheel, we've got John Dixon, Tony Worswick, etc. Those are sort of guys, your contemporaries, that you expect to take on in Rewind Tour Britain?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I look at that list and I think I race against a lot of these guys in some of the historic racing, like at Goodwood, and there's so many good drivers out there from different disciplines, as I said. So I'm sure you're going to have more than enough people wanting to come and do it, and the standard will be quite high, actually. Yeah.
Matt, your view?
I think one thing that you've always wanted to do as a rally driver is actually see how another rally driver drives. So to get them on the track, one-to-one, try and share the same piece of road with one of your rivals in a rally stage will be a bit of an opportunity. So there might be some paint swapped, I would say.
Paint swapped. Right, Adrian, are you worried about going side by side? Because that's not something you're used to.
Well, no, I'm quite looking forward to it. You've got quite a mix of people there, and let's just get in among it.
That's the attitude. Whichever way you look at it, it's racing drivers against rally drivers. We've started that off with the head-to-head out on the track, and you heard their banter. Although that was light-hearted, you can imagine how that's going to develop over time. But we are aiming high as well as the rank and file, because there will be a smattering of the star drivers as well. Why not? And even some of the celebrities who can remember what Noel Edmonds did to the British Touring Car Championship, or indeed when he was paired up with James Hunt. They never spoke again after the second stage, but that doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is you had brilliant, brilliant publicity and coverage of that huge event. So we will be aiming high. And if we look at this next slide, you'll see he can't be, or he tried to get here with us today, Joe Macari and Dario Franchitti. Now, I've spoken to both those. We've all spoken to both of those. Actually, it's interesting because Dario Franchitti is with Shaun Lynn and is driving with Shaun Lynn in the 24 Hours of Dubai, and he's making his racing comeback. He's up for this event. Joe's up for this event. He's lent us his Ferrari, and that's the kind of support that you see in there. And also, while we're bigging people up, Colin Turkington is with us, 4 times British Touring Car Champion. Give us a wave. There you are. There's a microphone coming your way. You can't escape. You said, TJ, I want to stay low profile. Well, you're not. We're going to bring you in. Because in the last years, all those championships and races that you've won, you've been racing historics and loving them. Will you love this?
It sounds like a wonderful concept, Tony. Racing drivers like me, a lot of racing drivers have never rallied, or we've never hill climbed, and vice versa. I'm sure a lot of rally drivers have never raced, so just to be able to sample, those different disciplines for me, is very exciting in itself. So, the yellow BMW that sits outside, which belongs to James here, Westbourne Motorsport, I raced that last year in Donington Historic. So, hopefully we can get the band back together and get an entry in. But yeah, just to sample the whole different types of motorsport, and I'm only used to doing 3 20-minute races, so to drive for 3.5 days sounds like a challenge in itself. So, you know, also slightly fear for the trees around Blenheim Palace if I'm driving. So we are very much looking forward to it, and, you know, hopefully we can get an entry in.
Very quickly pass that microphone to James. You've heard that, James. We'd like him, we'd like the BMW. It's outside there, the 3-litre S, and Westbourne Racing, one of the great historic teams. So, are you in?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an event certainly we'll have to be a part of, and for a bit before my time in terms of racing, but certainly I enjoy it all from motorsport, or history of motorsport, so be a part of it, coming back again would be phenomenal.
Great. So your dad, Richard, your brother, Ben, they'll all be in there as well. So even more endorsements. But let's move on now as we head towards the end of the formal part of the conference before we do questions and answers, just to talk to you, Pierre, about who can win.
Well, it's starting tomorrow. We're going to tackle the sporting and technical regulations, and we will decide which car would be eligible for the overall classification. But on top of that, we are also thinking about special prizes, about classes for different cars. We are really keen to bring a new generation to historic. So maybe there will be a special prize for the youngest crew. So there's a lot of ideas, and we will, start working on that from tomorrow.
And of course, as Hugh was saying, you'll be both working on the regulations, and this could be a combination of index of performance, class winners, etc. But whatever it is, you'll look at the best possible balance.
Yeah, index of performance is a good formula because it gives a level field for either you're bringing an Austin 1965 Austin Mini or a Sierra. You have the same chances to be on the podium at the end of the day. So we are really keen to work on an index performance classification as well.
Great. So just looking at these two slides now of the officials, and again, we were talking about that with Motorsport UK. They are the lifeblood of the sport. They're the backbone of the sport. Of course, a lot of those are being contacted. And I don't know if he's in the room. I'm hoping he is. But there's a man who absolutely loves his motorsport, one of our chief scrutineers. Is John Cooper with us? Did he manage to make it today? He said he was. Okay, unfortunately, I did whisper in his ear about this about 3 weeks ago, and he was literally jumping up and down in a scrutineering bay. But very, very typical of the officials. I think they're really going to enjoy this as well, though, aren't they, Hugh?
Absolutely. I mean, I think, as I said before, we've got the most enthusiastic fan base, but also the most enthusiastic volunteer base. You know, we've had an enviable position in the world stage of international events. You know, we have had unbroken runs of the British Grand Prix here, the envy of France and Germany these days. And that's very much a reflection of the extraordinary volunteer community that we've got.
Fantastic. So let's see in summary what Motor Racing Legends and BARC have in store for you in May 2027. So far, obviously, it's very important. We're getting great reaction, not just in the room, hopefully online as well. And in a moment, we'll go into the question and answers. And you know, in the section at the bottom of your webinar, you can put the questions through, and they'll come through to my iPad. So I'll have some questions here and questions from the floor. But before we do that, let's get the chairman of MRL, Shaun Lynn, just to summarise Rewind Tour Britain for you all. Please, Shaun.
I think, in summary, I think what Tony and his team have managed to pull together with MS UK, BARC, and hopefully MRL playing his part is an opportunity to celebrate Britain, rewind of an amazing event that happened yesteryear, using the cars that we all own, love, cherish, and love to see back on the track. The chance of race versus rally, driving through this beautiful country, which I don't think we celebrate anywhere as much as we could do. Spending those 3.5 days with your cherished car and a good friend who's sitting next to you. Well, may start off as a good friend. We'll see if it ends up that way. But I think for me, it's the romance of it, and this the history and the nostalgia and the chance of doing something with a great camaraderie, as Pierre said a few times. It's amazing the friends that you can make on an event like this. You push yourself, you push the team, but you have great fun at the end of it, regardless of where you've come. If you finished the 3.5 days, that's winning. So
Also, Shaun, just in summary there, you've also put on the entry fee. We've put on that slide as well of 5,950, which seems very reasonable.
Yes, it was for us. It was to try to make it achievable and not crazy. It's about trying to cover costs and put it on a great event, and going to the right places, and having the right support to bring a great event all together. So I think, I do think it's reasonably priced alongside other competing events. You'll see other events that are much more expensive, and also you need a carnet to normally go to it. So for us, it was an opportunity to put something on that's going to be achievable for everybody.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Shaun, thank you for being with us. Stay with us for the questions and answers now, please. There might be something that you want to contribute there. And from all of us, enjoy your racing. We know you absolutely will. I'm just going to go online very quickly because Rick Turner asked me about what sort of classes and age of vehicles could take part, and he just said, oh, you've just answered that, thank you. But Richard Hogg from Ireland said, are we able to use a racing driver for the circuit part and then a rally driver for the stages, or would this be out of order? There you go, I'm throwing that over
I
there.
think you've already specified that actually in some of your slides, which is that you can choose which driver competes on the race circuit. So I'm sure that's probably the way that it'll gravitate.
And Colin Turkington, Richard Hogg from Ireland says he's already sent you a message. So the Irish Mafia are already working overtime. I can feel that coming on. Right, questions from the room, because David's over there with a microphone, Simon's over there. Your August panel are ready, or Shaun is ready. You've got any questions you'd like to ask at all? Right, we over that side of the room, please. Nick Starkey.
Are you going to allow a different co-driver every day, like when they ran 96, I think it was? It was a 7-day event. You could change the co-driver every day.
What, because you'd worn them out, or what?
No, I think the idea was to get some celebrities co-driving.
Oh, I see. Well, I think that's a question for Pierre.
That's something. Good luck with that.
Sorry, Pierre.
That's something we have to work with Motorsport UK and see what we can do, in terms of licenses, etc. But if we can do it, why not?
I think Hugh's looking at me because he knows many times I came to him and said, I need to get this celebrity or this journalist into this hot seat to do this rally because I can't get the sponsorship without it. I think you've always said we will always try and make things like that happen, especially if it promotes the sport, but safely.
I think that's right, but I instinctively feel that switching drivers and co-drivers during the event is probably not in the spirit of what we're trying to achieve here. I think probably a two-person crew, but I mean, that's really down to MRL to decide, and Motorsport UK will provide the support.
Yeah, you have a racing driver and a rally driver in the team. They can swap between the races and the stage rallies.
Shaun, I know you want to say something.
I was going to say, if I could just jump in there. As a man that goes round and round in circles, the last thing I need is a rally driver that's swapping out every day for the certain section that he's really good at, that he knows really well. That seems to be a bit unfair. I think it should be the same team all the way through the 3.5 days, unless there's some exceptional circumstance for, your wife's pregnant or whatever it may be. Even that's questionable. You should keep the same team, I think.
Right, we have more questions here and here.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. Jerry Bailey. You've concentrated so far on the battle between the racing drivers and the rally drivers. Well, I think you've missed out one little niche group of which both you and I are members of, and that's those of us who regularly compete in both. So, I'm sure you'll be putting your name forward for this event, and so will I be. And so I think that the professional race and rally drivers may have to look out for those of us who do actually compete in both disciplines already, and have already got the appropriate licenses.
Yeah, but that's you. You're quick, and I'll be working. So there we are. Right, sir, are you ready? a microphone coming?
It's just a general question.
No problem.
Has much thought gone into accommodation, you know, where we're going to stay, that sort of thing? You know, nice restaurants, good pubs.
Pierre, do you want this one or not?
We will recommend some hotels along the route, and we will try to look after you as best as we can, and offer you various options with hotels, from the cheap ones to the most expensive ones, to make sure we can fill any requests.
Shaun?
Yeah, I was just going to echo what Pierre said. It's about catering for everybody. So we'll try to come up with some discount codes as well. We'll try and do some deals with various hotels and restaurants, and try and keep the community together, where the majority of people are going for dinner, whatever the people's personal preference might be. But at the end of Parc Fermé, there'll be some drinks and snacks for everybody, just to congregate and talk about the day that's just gone by, and the bits they loved and bits they were scared of, and so on, which I think just adds to the whole union of everybody together.
Right, Shaun, there's a question for you that's come in online. Sounds so exciting for all concerned. Is Shaun participating? That's from Fan Johnston.
I think I would, if I could. If you're not going to have me doing something, I would like to, for sure. In my Lotus Elan, because I think that's going to be the car that will be the giant killer.
Yeah, okay. Patrick Watts has a question now.
I think part of this is the social side. So on that, I'm imagining all having a drink round a bar and a nice meal afterwards. Are there any nighttime stages to get in the way of that pleasure?
No.
Good.
No.
And being 70, my eyesight isn't what it used to be. So one excuse down.
No, I think I'm just echoing what...
Not for the, if I can just jump in, sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to say, maybe not for the first year. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how many people talk to us about maybe doing a night stage. But if we were to do the next event, maybe we would try and do something, because that would be super fun.
Yeah, that'd be absolutely awesome. Any more questions, ladies and gentlemen, before we move on? Okay, look, we'll all be here to answer those questions. You can send us the emails. You can look at the final slide there, because you've got the QR code on there. You've got the link there, which takes you straight into that page on the Motor Racing Legends website, so you can express your interest and put your name down there, and you will receive more information from Rewind Tour Britain and as it goes along. What we're going to do now is we're going to do 2 sets of photo calls downstairs in front of the cars, which Will Broadhead is going to coordinate, with Anthony and Jake helping as well, please, to get our people down there, and then a second one. After that, there's going to be a light lunch. And then after that, those of you who've signed up for the challenge, which is the MRL BARC Rewind Challenge, you'll be pitting your skills over there in various cars. No, not for me, no. There's some fantastic cars, and you can spin them around over there. But also, I would say, Jake Yorth, who handles all the media, many things with MRL, and Anthony Peacock over there is working with me, a media man on the launch. We'll coordinate any interviews that you require, because I know there's quite a few media in the audience with us today as well. And it remains for me to say a big thank you for this fantastic turnout and the interest that we've had in the event so far. It's absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Ali. Thank you very much, Hugh. Thank you very much, Ben. And for now, Pierre, we're all available. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.